Well, this ought to be another silly test. Today we're going to head out on the highway and figure out what sort of realistic fuel economy you can expect in the 2022 Jeep Wrangler 392. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. This thing, first of all, is absolutely filthy because we've been hooning it through off-road parks and obviously puddles and mud and just having a great time doing Jeep things with this absolutely absurd Extreme Recon Rubicon 392 Wrangler. It's got 35-inch tires, it's got a 6.4-liter fire-breathing V8, and an absolutely absurd exhaust note. If you do want to see more on this Jeep, check the link in the description. I'll also put the links to our other Jeep fuel economy tests. I think the only one we've done is the 4xe. We drove a diesel last year, but didn't get a chance to do a fuel economy test with it because that was before we did fuel economy tests. So, why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this Jeep a whopping 17 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are plenty of people who take long road trips and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect in the real world. In order to do that, we're going to head over to the gas station here, fill up, go out and do 25 miles out and 25 miles back. We do a shortened test for these thirsty vehicles. Then we're going to come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method and get a result. A few things to note for today. Outside temperatures 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Our tire pressures have been set to the door placard 37 psi cold. And we're going to run our climate control at 73 degrees auto. Now yes, this will use the compressor likely, but that's how people travel in the real world, and without it we would freeze in here. Right, now we really ought to be doing this test with the quiet exhaust mode, but I figured y'all would appreciate just how cool it sounds. But let's hop out and fill it up. Not only have we been getting horrendous fuel economy with this, because we've been flossing it and because it's a brick, but also it takes premium fuel with this motor. So if you're willing to help out Daily Motor, hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely helps us out and helps pay for not only gas, but also car washes, which we're going to have to do with this. In fact, I got to wash the inside too, because we got it really dirty. If you really want to consider supporting the channel, sign up to become a Daily Motor member. There you can get custom sound tests, you can see behind the scenes videos, and ultimately just supports the channel. So hit that join button if you want to help out. 16.199 gallons going in, almost $70 worth of fuel. Jeez. Before we actually start the engine, we're going to reset our trip computer and our GPS. We're ready to begin. This never gets old. No sorts of drive modes here in the Wrangler 392, but we are going to run the test in 4-wheel drive high. We're going to take it nice and easy over to the highway, about half a mile away, pick up the test from there. Well, the goal of this test isn't a hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy, but rather a realistic number for this Jeep. In order to do that, we're going to get up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace and set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour. On our abbreviated test, we probably won't average 70 for the whole trip, but for all the highway portion, we should be averaging right around 70. Okay, if this Prius is able to get up to speed, I just realized I pretty much cannot see out of my rear view mirror. Or outside mirror rather. That's a little bit of a oversight on my part. Looks like the speedometer is actually pretty accurate. 73 on the dash, just giving us 73 on the GPS, so I'm actually going to drop it by 1. I did turn it into performance exhaust off for this trip, partially for the drone, partially, who knows, I might get slightly better fuel economy. Can hear a lot of wind noise, but not too much exhaust drone. You can mostly just hear wind and tire. Looks like we are running on all 8 cylinders. I'll keep an eye on it, see if it ever drops down to 4. But we're going to continue on with the rest of the test and catch up with you at the end. Now, I did not bring my secondary camera, unfortunately, for the time-lapse, but let's just do a quick time-lapse here in the middle of me filling this thing up with fuel. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the Wrangler 392 Extreme Recon. Not too surprising, that fuel economy is awful. We are averaging 15.4 miles per gallon according to the vehicle's trip computer. It did kick into 4-cylinder mode a few times, but just really briefly, maybe going down a hill or just really quick, and then it came right back to 8 cylinders. So for me, I would rather just have that completely disabled, keep the reliability for my engine, and maybe get 1 mile per gallon less over the whole trip. But clearly, cruising around on the highway like this, it mostly needs 8 cylinders. All that being said, it's not awful in here as long as you don't really mind the noise from the tires and the wind. Just kind of cruise. The seat's mildly comfortable, but the seating position itself is pretty easy. And yeah, it's a silly Jeep. What can you expect? So we're going to head back to the gas station, fill up, and see what we get. 3.299 gallons going in for our final fill. 53.2 divided by 3.299 is giving us 16.1 miles per gallon. So, decent bit better than the readout, but at 16 miles per gallon, still one below our EPA number. We do have a 21.5 gallon fuel tank in here, so 21.5 times 16 is giving you an effective highway cruising range of just 340 miles here in the Extreme Recon Jeep Wrangler 392. Now, this car is absolutely absurd, so I wouldn't mind paying a little bit extra to get amazing, just silliness to the car. So, having not great fuel economy, I mean, it's not the point of this car, but you do have to consider that you're filling this up all the time with premium fuel. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt if you think of getting one of these. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Wrangler, check the links in the description. We've got our sound system tests, our review of the 4xe, and a DM test drive of this one. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.